What's up, Warriors fans? It's your main man, Max, here from Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as I do post new Warriors videos daily. Now, it's been another interesting 24 hours in Dub Nation as I'm starting to sound like a broken record. Mostly because, yes, we're talking about Jonathan Kuminga, but I'm left scratching my head because the Warriors offered him another offer, upping it to 45 over 2 years, and he rejected that too. And I'm thinking to myself, why are they just continuing with these lowball offers? Do the Warriors really not know the potential long-term effects that this could have? And I don't think they do. And it's starting to get to me. Because you look at this, you offer Kuminga his 2 years. What was it? This would be what? 22.5 a year with probably a team option for the second. And I understand why Kuminga wouldn't do this, but why are you making these offers? You offered him 2 days ago 40 million over two. He said no. You think an extra 5 million is going to magically make him say yes? And then on top of that, I found out the official Suns offer that they made for Kuminga, and it was Nick Richards and Royce O'Neal, but instead of five second round picks, it was 4 second round picks, which isn't as good as five, but it's still pretty good. And it makes me wonder, like, is nobody really that interested in Jonathan Kuminga, or are the Warriors really just trying to lowball and present themselves as not a great organization anymore? Because I think back, say, the old Warriors, they wouldn't let this happen. This wouldn't have dragged on as long as it did. I think back when KD really said he wants to be out, they did whatever they could to facilitate him getting out of there, and they got something back. Let's look at KD. They're like, all right, KD doesn't want to come back. We don't want to lose him for nothing. Let's sign and trade him to the Nets. They ended up getting D'Angelo Russell, who they in turn turn into Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga, who they turn Andrew Wiggins into Jimmy Butler. So that is a good way to deal with disgruntled players. And immediately, I'm starting to wonder what's going on in the front office. Again, is it really Mike Dunleavy running things? Is it Kirk Lacob running things? Is it Joe Lacob running things? Because this is not how the Warriors usually act. And again, it brings me to the idea, who's running the asylum over in Golden State? Because just so many things are going on. Even with Jonathan Kuminga, they haven't made any other moves because of him. The Warriors of old wouldn't let this play out this far, and they would have signed at least a few free agents at minimum deals, I mean, before they just rounded out with Jonathan Kuminga. All right, so they can't figure out a way to get Jonathan Kuminga moved or re-signed. Let's take care of these guys first, make sure that we at least have some settlement with the roster, and then move forward from there. But now, I don't know how this is going to affect them moving forward. This is just a bad look for them, like from the perspective of agents, from the perspective of players, and I'm worried. Is Joe Lacob going to become another James Dolan? We all know from the amount of stories that James Dolan likes to meddle and just do rash things when it comes to acquiring players or trading certain players away, and they usually come back to bite them. And I get the feeling that's what's going to happen with the Warriors. We look at their 2-year time window. Okay, we bring in a bunch of guys. They maybe or may not win a championship. Then 2027 comes around, the entire team retires. Jimmy, Draymond, Steph, they're all gone. Then what? You got to move forward. But it's not a good look if you're lowballing your top-tier free agents, or at least not trying to help facilitate him into getting to a team where he can be successful while also getting a decent amount of capital back. Let's be honest here. The market for Kuminga isn't good. You can ask for a first-round pick, but when you know it isn't there, holding out and waiting for one isn't winning you any good points in terms of agents looking to sign or looking for their players to sign with you, or players on how you deal with them should they become free agents or occasionally underperform. So it's just, the look that they're giving out is becoming really concerning, because I don't want to see the Warriors just bottom out the way the Kings did back in 2006, and next thing you know, they don't make the playoffs for over 17 years. I mean, I remember how bad that Warriors team was. Like, not excluding the We Believe Warriors, how bad the Warriors were post TMC era. They were really, really bad. There was no effort put into the Warriors. They were perennial dumpster fire. Their little highlights were Jason Richardson winning the dunk contest and his highlight dunks during games. We don't need that as Warriors fans. We're used to winning now. We want to keep winning. And to keep winning, you actually sometimes have to bite the bullet. And in this case, biting the bullet means getting less than what you want for Jonathan Kuminga. And in fairness, I think that is good value return. We look at Royce O'Neal. He's a 3-and-D player that could shoot, doesn't need the ball to be effective. And Nick Richards, he's a 7-footer. The one thing the Warriors really need. And yes, those 4 second-round picks aren't going to turn into first-round picks, but they do offer a chance to potentially draft a good role player. I'd rather have 4 chances to draft a good role player versus 1 chance to maybe get a more solidified role player in the first round. Now, that's going to happen because you get a lot of these guys in from the draft these days, and I remember Colin Cowherd once said, these guys who are coming out one and done, they're goose eggs. You really don't know what you're getting, so it's up to the team to really develop that player and help them become NBA ready and NBA playable. Now, if you have 4 chances to do that, it's still a lot better than 1. So I don't like the way the team is letting this play out the way it has. I want them to just come to a quick resolution, move off of this, and then continue to sign guys to fill out the rest of the roster. Because there are plenty of guys out there that are maybe as good, if not better, than Kuminga. Like, I look at it, as I love to mention, Brandon Boston Jr., Imani Bates. I believe they have higher ceilings than Kuminga. They just haven't had the same opportunity that he's had with the Warriors to really put up those points. And you could sign both of those guys to 2-year minimum deals, and they will sign them. On top of that, you could potentially get Ben Simmons. Bring him in as a reclamation project for a single year and really have Draymond work with him and help him become the guy that he used to be. Ever since that pass in the Game 7 of the semi-conference finals in 2021, he hasn't been the same player. Let's help him get his groove back. And I know Draymond could definitely help him with that because they are pretty much the exact same player, except that Ben Simmons is a lot taller and a lot faster and has better handles. Now, on top of that, they could finally get the deal done with Seth Curry and get the team another 3-point shooter, which they desperately need because you can't just have Steph as the only guy who's just a lock from downtown. Having Seth there too, boom, it's going to be like a French fine dining experience. Steph goes down, okay, here's Seth hitting it from 50% from 3 in a playoff series. That's exactly what this team needs, and I look forward to him being there. On top of that, they can also clear out some roster spaces by trading guys like Moody and Buddy Hield in exchange for Nikolai Vucevic, who can bring them another 7-footer in the middle and go out and get you 20 points per game and maybe even 10 rebounds. But until they solve this Jonathan Kuminga deal quickly, it's holding them back. And that I don't want to see that moving forward. So just Joe Lacob, get the deal done, be done with it, move past it. Yeah, if you have to trade him for Phoenix, at least you're getting 4 second-round picks as well as 2 viable players in the rotation. So I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. Get the deal done. Now, on a side note, I saw something very interesting yesterday in the NBA news, and that's the NBA beginning to preliminary look into creating an NBA Europe League. And I know that's not really Warriors related, but I did find it interesting because it does affect the Warriors in the sense that there may be more teams in the league, or is this going to become a minor league for the Warriors? Will they have their own team based in Europe, similar to how the NFL did NFL Europa? That didn't really pan out too much, and so on and so forth. But another reason it affects the Warriors is because they just brought in that new coach, Nikola, who is from Serbia. They brought him in because of his potential for player development as well as his knowledge of Serbian basketball. Say there's a Serbian team within your NBA Europe. All the players from Serbia are going to want to play in NBA Europe, and then the Warriors no longer have that X factor with that coach who knows Serbian players more than other teams. Because if they have a Serbian team, a lot more NBA teams are going to learn about Serbian players through that NBA Europe Serbian team. So I don't want to see that happen. But Adam Silver and Mark Tatum did make a overture to the UK Prime Minister. They brought in private equity funds, KKR and CVC, which are big private equity houses based in New York City. And they're really moving forward with this potential expansion into Europe. And on top of that, the NBA Europe also has the opportunity to really merge with the EuroLeague, which is what the EuroLeague really wants. They don't want a competing team with the NBA, or excuse me, a competing league with them. It's better to, I believe, overall, to just have an integrated league, have the NBA and EuroLeague just completely merge together and have the EuroLeague turn into NBA Europe. But, that remains to be seen, but it is interesting to look at because it is going to affect the league as well as the Warriors in their bottom line, whether it be not being able to get certain players because they prefer to stay in Europe, or other teams finding out about secret little players because now they're more visible to the NBA. But bottom line is that lowballing Jonathan Kuminga is going to be a bad look. And as I said before, you got to realize, and Lacob got to realize, Mike Dunleavy has to realize, and whoever else is running things over in Golden State, they all have to realize eventually the ride's going to end, and you have to reset. And if you're going to reset, you do want players and agents to look at your organization from a favorable view. Lowballing Jonathan Kuminga isn't going to get you anywhere. As I said, you're just going to have to move him for what you can get. Because say he does sign that qualifying offer, that's just a fate worse than death. Because he's not going to mix well with the roster it is now. You're going to have a disgruntled player who's playing for you when you have championship aspirations. And that's going to be a problem moving forward. And on top of that, you don't have the right players you need to win a championship. We saw how that roster was versus the Timberwolves, and they're going to have to go through the likes of the Rockets and the Timberwolves again, and the Nuggets, and the Clippers, and the Lakers, and Oklahoma City before they even touch the NBA Finals. So I'd rather them just move on from them, add pieces that will add immediate value, as well as keep you extremely cap flexible. And you know what? Maybe you could get some potential role players down the line with those second-round picks. Now, that's all we have today for Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And if you have any ideas for how the Warriors should get better, feel free to comment below, as I love hearing your ideas. And as always, go Dubs.